Hello everybody, good morning. I just wanted to show you what I'm doing today. It is a really cool, it's only like in the upper 60s right now, yay! And we had some rain last night and it's just cooled way down after it was the day before was almost 100. And so I'm taking advantage of my doors being open, the fans on, the air conditioner not running, the cool weather to start processing the prickly pear that I harvested over this past week. It is prolific. And let's see if I can turn the camera around here. I have only half of what I harvested steaming, and most of that is juice. This is a huge 12 quart stock pot, I think. And I only used like this much. I just used an old container and I think this is 2 quarts. Yeah, 64 ounces is 2 quarts, I believe. Yeah. And so I just added that much water in there, and all of the juice that you're seeing is mostly from the fruit itself. So, hey everybody, thanks for watching. Hi Marcy. But that is only half, and here is the other half of the bucket that I have still to process. This has to slow boil and simmer for about 2 hours, so it's got about another hour and a half left. And I usually burn off all of the tiny little pricklies from the prickly pear with tongs, of course. I don't touch it. But this morning I was stupid, wasn't thinking straight. My mind was somewhere else, and I reached down in the bucket to pick up one with my hands. Ouch. Yeah, not smart, Esther. But I usually use a camp burner to burn off all of the pricklies from the prickly pear. But I used this instead. This is a stem wick. It's actually a chafing fuel thingamajigger. And I take this off and burn it, and then I take the tongs and I just hold it over the flame like that, just to get each individual prickly pear has to be done that way. So half of this bucket here, that's now in there cooking down, took me probably an hour and 15 minutes just to do half the bucket. So anyway, there you have it. I'm starting the process today, woot woot. And our internet has been acting up, so we've got the tech person coming this morning sometime. Plus I have a sign language mentorship meeting this morning online from about like 11 to 12. So I'm a little busy this morning, but it's all good. Thank you for joining me. I'll catch up with you later. Bye. So I thought I'd real quick just add another little video here to show you how I take the little pricklies off of the pears. I'm ready to do a second batch. I have a clean, empty stock pot, and I'm getting ready to do the second batch. So, in one of my other videos, my friend Lori, she mentioned that somebody took their prickly pear and put it on a big baking sheet and used a blowtorch, you know, a charcoal lighter or whatever like that, a blowtorch, and torched them all. And I don't think I had one, but I do. I had a blowtorch. But for sake of today, what I'm going to do is just show you what I did today, and how you can do it if you don't have a blowtorch or a grill or anything like that. So this is a chafing fuel container for, it's called Stem Wick. You can buy any brand, but it's full of alcohol inside, and it has a wick on the top. So I just take that off, set a little light to it, let that take hold. You see it? Yeah, it's taking hold now. And I have a piece of cardboard from an old microwave popcorn box. I keep my cardboard boxes for my fireplace, but this comes in handy too. I process the prickly pear on top of a cutting board on top of cardboard. And the reason for that is because that prickly pear juice stains everything. With the char from the burner to cutting it open and the juice running out, it will totally stain my nice cutting board. So to protect my cutting board, I'm going to use a piece of cardboard to process everything on and then throw the cardboard out. And it protects everything. So here we go. So I first have to get a prickly pear. You can see this is the before. Lots of little spines and prickly stuff on it. I'm going to just do this here so you can see. Don't know if you can see the spines lighting up, but you see the color in the prickly pear is changing. It's burning off all of those fibrous hairs that are actually so fine you can't really even see them with the naked eye. But once you burn them off, there you go. Look how smooth and beautiful that is. See? And I can touch it now without getting thorns in my finger. But it's not hot. I mean, it's just, you can touch it, it's smooth. And then I cut just a sliver. Cut a little sliver in the top. So when I start cooking it, it opens up and all the juices come out. I did look online this morning, and prickly pear is made up of over 80% water. I can't remember the exact percentage, but it's over 80. And that's why for 3 gallons of prickly pear, I get a full gallon of juice. Plus I added a little bit of water to help it steam. So anyway, that's how I clean my prickly pear. And I will do another one real quick. And I make sure I get it all. And with this clean burning fuel, it's kind of nice because it doesn't char the ends of the tongs. See, lots of juice. Ta-da! And I do that until my stock pot is full. Okay, it's about halfway through the cooking process. And I am going to, my phone's getting steamy. I'm going to crush the fruit. Mash it down as much as I can. Look at all those nummy juices. Oh my goodness. Yum, yum, yum. So I won't bore you by making you watch me do all of this, but I'm going to crush them till they're really, really crushed, because they're real soft right now. And that helps release some of the juices. And then I'm going to let it simmer for another hour, and then I'm going to strain it. But I'll be back at that time just to show you what I do. I am going to take these juices and make syrup and jelly. Just so you know, that's what my plan is. So harvesting, processing, cooking, preserving, making jams and jellies is a very time-consuming process with prickly pear, but worth it because you only get the harvest once a year, and it's organic, and it's very time-consuming, but you've got jams and jellies and syrups to last you a whole year. So Anyway, I'm going to continue mashing, and I will be back with you later. Ta-ta! Hello. So I'm hoping this is recording. The prickly pear has finished. It's simmering for 2 hours. It's been crushed, and I have a large bowl and a metal colander, and I also have, if you guys have not invested in one of these and you want to do some canning with real fruit, I would suggest getting a flour sack. You can see that. Flour sack towels. So I like it better than cheesecloth because it's much finer, and they clean really well. They're made of 100% cotton, I believe. Maybe not. Let's see. Yep, 100% cotton. And so I really like it. Now this bowl is going to be big, but oh, I wish you could smell the prickly pear right now. It just smells so wonderful. But I'm using a colander plus the flour sack towel because there might be some of those little pricklies left, and you know, this will catch everything. So all that's going to be left in the bowl is just the juice from the prickly pear. Now this is still very hot, and if you want to be cautious and you don't have you're not pressed for time, you can just sit and let it cool. That's fine. But I'm in a hurry and I don't care. I wish you could smell it, but I am going to start to okay. Now, this is extremely hot. And I'm going to bring another container over here to put my colander on, so it can drain onto the other container. And you have to be very careful when you're doing this because, like I said, it's extremely hot right now. And so you can just squeeze it, but it's too hot to squeeze with my hands. And I'm going to move it back over here and just let it continue to drain. I'm just going to let it sit, let it all cool off. Later on, I'm going to transfer these juices. I really, look at that. Thick, beautiful prickly pear juice. In case you're interested, the health benefits of the prickly pear cacti, the fruit, is it's got a unique composition of nutrients. It's got high levels of vitamin C, B family vitamins, magnesium, potassium, calcium, copper, and dietary fiber. So they have, in terms of organic compounds, the cactus fruit has also high levels of flavonoids, polyphenols, betalains, and they all have positive impact on our health. And so the prickly pear fruit, the organic, is extremely good for you, and it's full of antioxidants, which are anti-carcinogens. So, yeah, one benefit of living in the high deserts of West Texas. So, all right, I'm going to stop this for now, and I will catch you later on the further process. I'm going to have to do the second bucket just like I did this one, but I can't do anything till everything cools off. So I'll talk to you later. Bye. Okay, this is all of the juice that I did with half the bucket. So 12 quarts, which is, let's see, there's 4 quarts in a gallon, so I'd say 3 gallons of fruit boiled down to 1 gallon of juice. Yeah, this is a 1 gallon, I believe it is. Maybe a little bit more, I don't know, jar, and it filled it to the brim, almost to overflowing. So half a bucket of fruit gave me 1 gallon of juice. So I'm just gonna put this in the refrigerator and process the other half, put it in a gallon jar, put it in the refrigerator, and hey everybody, hi Janet, hi Lori, hi Mary Beth. Who else? Donna, hi Donna. Anyway, so I'm gonna do all of this and process the other batch, put it in the refrigerator, and I probably won't get to canning the jelly or making the syrup until next week, over the weekend, probably Monday. So it'll sit in the refrigerator for 2 or 3 days. It'll be fine. And then I will start making my preserves next week. I'm going out of town for work this weekend, so I won't be able to get to it. But yeah, there you have it. I will probably live video on Facebook next week when I start processing the jellies and syrups. So there you have it. That's it for now. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Bye-bye. Good morning, everybody. It's the morning that I am going to be making prickly pear jelly. And I've got everything ready. My mise en place is all taken care of, which is just everything in its place. I have 6 cups of prickly pear juice and half a cup of lemon in here, getting ready for the jelly preparation. I have my lids in hot water to soften the rubber rings, and I have my jars in here. They are going to be steaming and sterilizing in my water bath canner. Most times when I make any kind of jams and jellies that's very high acidic, like apple jam or apple jelly or any fruit jams and jellies, I usually don't water bath. I usually use the dry canning method, and I have that posted on my blog site as well. You can go to simplehomeandhearth.com, and the dry canning method blog post should be right there on the home page. So, but I usually do that. But this time, I am going to be water bath canning my prickly pear jelly. And the reason I'm going to be doing that is because I am reusing some commercial lug lids on these jars, like the rubber sealed pickle jars or whatever, you know, jars you get. And when you use lug lids, you need to boil the lids for at least 5 minutes to really soften that commercial seal back up. And they just seal better when I'm reusing lids. So I am going to water bath because I am using reusable or reused lug lids for this batch. So that's how we're going to do it today. And I'm going to wait for my jars to sterilize, and then I will get back with you and we'll start the process. Okay, now my jars are almost ready, not quite, but I'm going to start the process. In here I have 6 cups of prickly pear juice and a half a cup of lemon juice. And right now you don't want to add the sugar yet. You want to add the pectin, and you're going to be cooking that with pectin. And I used, I'm going to be using today this right here, Sure Gel. It is no sugar needed fruit pectin. And because I have 6 cups of juice, I'm using 2 packages of the Sure Gel fruit pectin. And I have to turn my fire on, that might help. I'm going to turn it on medium-high and add my pectin, my 2 boxes. And I'll tell you the reason I'm, excuse me, the reason I'm using no to low sugar pectin is because I really do not like how sickeningly sweet some jellies are. And I'm actually going to be using half the amount of sugar that the recipe calls for. This is kind of just my own recipe, to be honest with you. I'm going to have to, you'll see that this pectin is clumped up a little bit. I'm going to just let it cook and dissolve. And I actually might just get my whisk out here. Just to kind of break up that powdered pectin. Last year when I made this, I followed somebody's advice online, and it didn't turn out. The advice that I followed was when I cooked the prickly pear to get the juice, they said fill the pot with prickly pear and then cover everything with water. So I did that, and I regretted it because my juice ended up so watery. There was mostly water and the pectin didn't hold, and it ended up more syrupy than jelly. So this year I decided I'm not going to do that anymore, and I just added, you know, I told you in the videos from before, I added very little water just to help those juices steam and break apart the fruit. And this time I have a much purer, more solid, thicker juice than I did last year, so I'm hoping that this will work. This is only my 2nd season to make prickly pear jelly, and it was such a hit last year I ended up giving all of it away. I kept like maybe 1 jar for myself, but it was pretty runny. It wasn't real thick like jelly should be, so yeah. So I'm going to let this cook for a little bit, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, I have a confession to make. Here's what not to do. I had this going on medium-high heat, and you can see I have made a mess. Look at that. Because I turned my back for literally maybe 10 to 15 seconds, and it boiled over and made an absolute mess on my stove. But it's okay. I am going to cook this now for, once it came to a boil, I'm going to set my timer for 1 minute, and I'm going to just cook this for 1 minute. And before I do my next batch, I am definitely going to clean up my stove. But I have everything going in the process now, so I don't want to interrupt that. So we've got 36 seconds left. The pectin is completely dissolved. The juice is extremely hot. And I'm just going to let this cook for another minute. I'm going to stir it. You can kind of see it's already getting a little sticky on the spoon. And you can see that it's just getting, the part that boiled up is already starting to gel a little bit. So I believe that this batch is going to turn out pretty good. Okay, that's our minute. Now I'm going to add about 4.5 to 4 3/4 to 5 cups of sugar. And believe it or not, that is only half the sugar that most recipes call for with 6 cups of juice. I do not like my jellies super sickeningly sweet, so this is how I do my jams and jellies. I use the low to no sugar pectin and only use half the sugar that's called for in most basic recipes. And that sugar is big clumps. I'm just going to work it through. Cook it until that sugar dissolves. Let it cook for another 2 minutes. And once you put the sugar in, it is going to dissolve and get really kind of thick. The next stage in this process is once the jelly is cooked, you have to work really fast and take your jars out of your sterilizer, put them on a towel. I have a towel here on top of my cutting board. And I'll get to that later, but once you're ready to put them in the jars, you have to work really fast because this stuff is going to start gelling as soon as it cools off. So I will come back when this process is over. Okay, I'm getting ready to put the jelly in the jars, and I want to show you the spoon already. I mean, as soon as I take it out of the liquid, it's already starting to gel. So this is going to turn out beautifully. Now you will notice on the top, let me get my, I can find it here. You'll notice there is a scum on the top, and that is the gelled sugar crystals as I cooked it coming to the surface. So I'm just going to skim that off. Just so I'll have a clearer jelly when I put it in the jars. Okay, my lids are extremely hot and the rubber's softened. And I am going to start putting the jelly in the jars. My jars are sterilized, hot and steamy. I am going to use my canning tools. And I know that all of these jars, this liquid will not fill all of these jars, and that was on purpose. I want the canner to be full, and this is the reused jar I'm going to be using. I want the canner to be full to balance out the jelly jars, and the empty jars will continue to be in the water bath canner, continue to sterilize and keep hot. It's all good. All right, people, here we go. Yeah, This is already starting to gel. This is going to be really, really awesome. I usually can my jelly in half-pint jars, just because it's easier to, you know, give away and you keep in the refrigerator because they're smaller jars. But I don't have any half-pint jars. I'm running out. I made so much monkey butter this summer, which is like a banana coconut pineapple jam. I had almost 50 some odd jars of that stuff, and yeah, I didn't have enough. So I'm going to fill these to about 1/4 inch. This funnel is awesome because you've got 1/4 inch, you know, it tells you exactly how far away from the edge you are. Measurements on the side. There we go. All right, they're almost full. I'll do this one real quick. Yeah, it's already starting to gel. Absolutely fabulous. It's really going to turn out. So, Mom, if you're watching this, my mother said, you need to try to make it more like jelly instead of syrup. And she's right. So, Mom, if you're watching this, yeah, your daughter did good. It worked. All right, pan's empty. I'm going to set it over here for now. And one of the most vital and important parts of your canning process is to clean the rims of your jars to make sure that there's no sticky residue so the rubber gasket has a good place to seal. All right, they're clean, and also I felt there's no dings in the jar. Tighten them down. Ouch, hot. All right. Now I'm just going to put these back in the water bath with all the other empty jars that'll keep sterilizing and stay hot. And I'm going to keep continuing to do this process for every single jar. Now I know, yeah, that's cool enough. All right, down in the water bath it goes. And I need to make sure that they stay upright and that they are 100% covered with water. And they're not totally covered with water, so I'm going to add more water that I've boiled until there's about an inch or so of water on the top. Had to add a little more water. All right, so those are ready to go, and I'll just show you the process here. If you see what's in the see, my jars are just tumbling. The empty ones are just sitting in there. That's fine. I've got the 4 pint-sized jars in there covered with water, and I'm going to water bath can that. Set it to water bath for 10 minutes, and while that's going, I'm going to clean up my stove because I made a mess, and I'll be right back. I want to show you real quick what I did with that first batch. I had a little bit left over in the pan. I poured it into a little disposable plastic container, and look at that. It's already completely gelled. Yeah, it worked. Okay, the 10-minute process is up, and I'm going to take the jars out of the water bath canner. Oh yeah, hot, hot, hot. Be very careful. I would say don't try this at home, but that'd be stupid. Try it at home. There we go. And I'm going to transfer these to the another cutting board with a towel on top of it. And this one is gonna seal really well, and you can hear the ping when they start sealing. And it's just such a beautiful sound. I love that ping. It means they're sealing and it's all good. These will seal and start pinging here in a second. And as you can see, I've already started my second batch, and I've cleaned my stove up. I have my sugar ready to go in this second batch. And I've got the extra lids that go with these jars already hot. And yeah, let's see if we can wait to hear a ping. Let me take this off of the tripod. And I will turn it around. How can I turn it around? It's not letting me. There went a ping. Do you hear that? Did you hear it? Oh, there goes the other one. One of the most beautiful sounds in the world, besides a baby crying when it's born.